The Eyes of Wakanda opens with ships sailing into the lion's den. Just then the color was looked at to identify if they impose a threat or not. Just then at the village we heard a loud trumpet signaling war. As the ship nears the shore, arrow was being fired as they attacked their way into the village. Soon after, the lion came out and they all bowed down to him. The village was conquered, and some of the villagers who disagreed with the recent development was tortured. A hot iron was used to pierce through their body, bearing the face of the lion. Noni was also brought in to bear the marks of the master. She replied saying no one is her master. The scene then shifted 6 weeks earlier, where Noni was invited and was being told the kingdom is in need of her as one of their high-ranking official vanished out of the blue. Just that we found out they were referring to the lion, as he was second only to the king and was being kept a secret, which is what Wakanda is all about. Noni was invited because the lion took a lot of Wakanda technology with him, and they are afraid he could fashion an advanced weapon and make himself the king. Noni was sent to be a ghost and bring the lion and his weapons back to Wakanda. We then get to find out why Noni was in the village and her mission there. Noni beat up the guards who tried to pierce the hot iron on her. She sneaked her way through in search of the lion, as she disguised as one of them. Noni was spotted and being chased. Just then the lion heard the noise and started dressing up in his costume. Noni dived into the water as the enemies were getting too much. She then made her way to his chambers. Just then she saw the lion. He asked her to come for a talk, and then he informed her about she not being the first to have come for him, but somehow she is the first who he didn't train himself to have made it this far. The lion showed Noni around and also told her something Wakanda didn't tell her, and he also termed Wakanda as a place of secrecy. Noni still stick to the initial mission, as she wasn't convinced that the lion is after freedom. They both engage in an epic battle. Noni defeated the lion, and just then he committed suicide by blowing up the place. Noni returned to Wakanda claiming she failed as she didn't bring the lion home or the weapons, but as being told the plan was to eliminate the threat against Wakanda, which she did. She was given her rank back, but she declined it, saying she would like to walk her own part. Noni volunteered to go back to retrieve the weapons, as it can still pose a danger for them in the future. The next scene opens with an attack on another village, where what looks like a Trojan horse was being sent to distract the enemies while Achilles entered through the back. They were found, which means a failed plan, so they we called back to retreat. Achilles was asked to leave immediately, as the enemies were coming after them. He disagreed and was later convinced to fight no more. At night, Achilles looks pained because of the defeat he faced earlier on. They tried blaming theirself and looking for a mole in the group, but Achilles wasn't buying that because Memnon they accused to save their life a countless time. Odysseus came up with one last trick on Troy, named the Trojan horse. The scene then shifted to Memnon, who we then found out was the mole, as he was being sent by Wakanda to retrieve a vibranium artifact from Troy. At night, the Trojan horse was sent to Troy with Memnon, Achilles, and some other soldiers inside. They were brought into the kingdom, and when no one was there anymore, they all came out silently, killed the guards, and opened the gate. They tried to be very quiet about their operations, but one of the enemies rang the bell before he was killed, signaling the whole kingdom. During their fight, Achilles looked for Memnon, but he already embarked on his initial mission, looking for the vibranium artifact. Memnon took the artifact and was caught by Achilles, who was curious about where he went. Achilles now believed he is a mole as he pointed his sword at him. Achilles pushed him down the building, and the vibranium artifact fell out. He followed him down and then saw the vibranium artifact he tried to destroy, and Memnon wasn't having that. The both have a face-off, and Memnon came out on top, killing Achilles in the process. 6 months later, Memnon, now known as Bekai, is back at Wakanda and was briefed about his past mission, which he then responded, "He feel like a stranger here in Wakanda after going a decade to be back here. He begged to be sent back to the field as he feel lonely here." The next scene show Basha, who reclaimed a vibranium fragment embedded in a sacred dragon statue in China. He was caught, but he escaped and flew out immediately. He landed at Wakanda and was being informed he was only supposed to take what was inside the statue. He explained to the counselor why he brought the head instead. Just then, Basha was being called about a problem on his airship. Captain Ebo, on his way to go check what was wrong with Basha's airship, was met by Jirani, who keeps mentioning Basha's name. The counselor was briefed about what happened, and since they know no intruder can enter into Wakanda single-handedly, then they figured out it must have been through Basha, as he was the only one who came through the airship. Basha met with Jirani, and she told him about how she took him in, and he did what he did to her. Jirani, now at the artifact room, saw a bunch of them, and Basha, knowing she will be there, they had an epic battle. Just then Jirani shows her true power, and Basha was shocked. Jirani removed the vibranium from the dragon's head and gave it back to Basha, and he apologized to her. Just then the counselor came, and Basha lied to him, saying Captain Ebo created a training to test the readiness of the soldiers in case if an intruder came into Wakanda in the future. Captain Ebo agreed with the lie, and after the counselor left, he took Basha and Jirani to the airship, another for her to leave without anyone detecting. The next scene opens in Ethiopia City, where Wakanda War Dog was sent to get an artifact, but because of a chaos was asked to retreat. He claimed he can't go back to Wakanda empty-handed, and then went for the artifact as fast he can. He brought it back at the expense of disobeying the retreat order. On their way back to Wakanda after taking the artifact, they were attacked. Prince Tafari and could have fought back just when they were about to end the enemy. They found out she was one of them. She proved it as she showed them what Wakanda would look like 500 years from now. She asked them to put the axe back to its exact resting place, or Wakanda will never survive what is coming. She also explained that the axe must be discovered by a specific leader, which will lead to Wakanda opening up to the world in the modern era, and if the axe is missing, history diverges and Wakanda never opens up, and they won't be prepared for Horde invasion. Prince Tafari was able to convince Kuda to return the axe. Back at the future Wakanda kingdom, they were being attacked by the Horde, and she decided to stay and defend the passage as their future now lies in their ancestor hands. Prince Tafari and Kuda now on their quest to go put the axe back at the exact position. A house was struck by a cannonball. Kuda pushed Tafari out of the way, and the building fell on him. Kuda informed him to stay on mission, saying there is no time. Tafari refused, and then Kuda responded saying this is the price they pay for being a war dog. Prince Tafari followed his order and kept the axe exactly where he found it. He called to inform Kuda about it, only to look outside and saw a big blast. He thought something happened to Kuda. Back at the future Wakanda, the queen fought back against the Horde. Tafari rescued Kuda, and they went back home. Kuda was being praised about his bravery, and then it came to an end. If you want more recaps like this, please like and subscribe. Thank you.